What's up guys, I'm coming out with the second video today in the next gen series, and this video is going to be covering the good points, the bad points, a general analysis of the Xbox One and what we can expect from this console when it releases in November. The first point I'm going to be going over is connection checks. For those of you who don't know, a connection check is when your system or a piece of software on your system will check if you are either verified with the piece of software that you're trying to use or if you're connected to the internet. In the Xbox One case, it's going to be checking whether you're connected to the internet every 24 hours periodically, and if you don't complete that check-in or it doesn't connect to the internet properly, it's not 100% clear what will happen, but the pretty much accepted truth is that you won't be able to play your Xbox, and that is a major downside for the Xbox One. I don't see why Microsoft would include this at all. It's really alienating their single player people, and even though they're aiming for HDMI slot 1, which is of course more a family entertainment system rather than just a solely games console, it's just really inconvenient for pretty much everyone. I mean, internet connections aren't like phone connections. You know, internet connections aren't constant, and they aren't there all the time like phone connections. They can fluctuate and go up and down for whatever reason, and if you fail to complete this test because your internet fluctuates or whatever, it's just inconvenient, and I don't see why Microsoft would do this. It's a really stupid decision on their part, I think. Before I get into game ownership, I want to cover something that's a bit different for the Xbox One. It's backwards compatibility. This is a really short extra segment. Basically, the Xbox One is not going to have backwards compatibility for the Xbox 360. They'd need to be coded differently, the games would need to be coded differently, and that's completely impossible now. So there is no backwards compatibility for the Xbox One, which I also think is a pretty bad idea on Microsoft's part. This next section is going to encompass both game ownership and sharing into one point, since their policies are pretty much the same for both things. Basically, game ownership is when you buy the game in disc form, you will have to then install it onto your Xbox Live account, and then that will be able to detect whether it's switching between accounts. So it'll be able to sort of track your game, but not track it, as in they'll track between users, not track location. And they're also, this is more towards sharing rather than ownership. They're introducing pre-owned fee policies. Now these are the stupidest thing I've ever heard. I don't know why you'd do this. Keep in mind, Xbox is yet to finalise all of its policy decisions, but I don't think they'll move on this. I'll say it's too late to move on this. There is an activation fee. When you buy a pre-owned game, you put it into your Xbox One, and you have to pay a fee to unlock it, to play it. That's ridiculous. That is going to sound really biased, and I mean, I've had a PlayStation 2, I've had an Xbox, I've had an Xbox 360, and I don't have any sort of allegiance. You know, I can think for myself, I don't have any allegiance to consoles. I don't feel that I should stick with this one brand no matter what. It's whatever's works for me and what's easiest for me, and I think this pre-owned fees is the stupidest idea I've ever heard. It's pretty much going to kill their pre-owned fan base. I buy pre-owned a lot because the pre-owned stuff is in good condition. You're not going to be buying a pre-owned game that's in bad condition, and to then have to pay, say, I got Black Ops 2 pre-owned and that was near enough 40 quid, so then if I have to go home and pay an extra £5 on top of that, it's not worth it, man. It's ridiculous, it really is. Now, for launch titles and exclusive games, at the first Xbox presentation, they didn't really mention them at all. It was more on the media side. They did mention, of course, Call of Duty Ghosts, which is going to be the big first Call of Duty on Xbox One, which I'm not looking forward to. I'll explain that in a different video. And FIFA 14. Now, they're both multi-platform games, so we don't really need to think about them as exclusives and more as launch titles. And whereas we come to the exclusive titles, they're sort of a bit games you never really heard of, apart from there is a couple that of course are parts of big series. We've got Dead Rising 3, which is going to be exclusive to the Xbox One, which I'm not too bothered about. We have, what else do we have? We have a game called D4, and the art style is very similar to 13 on the PlayStation 2. That game is great, man. Anyway, we've got Forza Motorsport 5. We've got Minecraft, the Xbox One edition. Where do I start on this? It's sort of like, we know you've bought Minecraft for the Xbox 360, but now we're re-releasing it, and you're gonna be buying it again. I don't know, man, it's sort of just cheap. And then of course we've got Metal Gear Solid 5. That, yeah, I was looking forward to that even, but of course it's gonna be a Xbox One exclusive, I believe, and it's not going to be coming to PS3, which I think is a pretty stupid idea, because the past 4 proper Metal Gear Solid games have been on PS3, so I don't know, I think this swap to Xbox One is just sort of a show how Microsoft hold the dominance in terms of outbidding Sony, and it's ridiculous, man. But the launch titles aren't really anything great. The exclusives, they're alright, I guess. The only one that I'd be majorly stoked for is Metal Gear Solid. Fee paying is exactly the same as it's always been. This is a good part. It's just pretty much the same as PlayStation Plus, and it's going to be exactly the same as it is now for Xbox Live. There's no extra detail on that. You're used to it. It's pretty much what it is. It's fine. The price tag. This one is a good one. The price tag on the Xbox One is ridiculous, and I'll explain why. The Xbox One comes partnered with Kinect 2, and I'll explain about Kinect 2 in a second, but basically this will bump the value of the Xbox One up to $500, which is way more than just your casual gamer can afford, and that'll be about £450 in the UK, which is going to be really, really expensive, and I am not into that at all. Another little part that I don't like about the Xbox One is Kinect 2. At first there were rumours that Kinect 2 would have to be plugged in and working on the Xbox One to allow the Xbox One to function, but now they're claiming it can be turned off. But still, I don't like this idea of the all-seeing eye of Kinect. Obviously, you know there's nobody like monitoring you behind those monitors, it's just the technology in the Xbox One. But I still don't like it, man. It's too Big Brother-ish, and I just don't like it. Anyway guys, that's the summary for the Xbox One. It's a high-end, high-price, pretty much just, they've done it badly this year. I have to say, in my opinion, they've done it terribly. You might like the features that I've presented in this video that Microsoft is bringing across, and you know, if you like it and you want to go for it, you know. But personally, no, I'm not digging this at all. Anyway, thanks for watching today's video. This took me a little while longer than the PS4 video. Actually, it took me quite a bit longer to collate all the facts as well. I hope you enjoyed. If you did enjoy, click the like button above. If you want to see more like this, next gen coverage, gameplay, stuff like that, hit the subscribe button above. I'll be very grateful for that. Again, thank you for watching and take care.